Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got another recap for you guys. Ready to Love Season 5, Episode 3 in DC. And we're going to kind of break down this thing. Cory seemed like he got a new connection. So did he redeem himself? I guess we'll talk about it. But before we jump into this, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. If you like the video, smash the like button. And feel free to drop a comment down in the comments section below. So, when it comes to Cory, you've seen how he kind of striked out with his so-called copy and paste method when it comes to dating. However, with Mumen reaching out, Cory ends up seem like getting a second chance. And he looked like he tried to make the most of it. And while, he was definitely very corny, he makes her laugh, which, kind of trump all of the awkwardness that he easily created. There was somebody else who looked like they got a second chance, and that was Tyrones. Now, shy guys tend to not do so well on the show, so if you're socially awkward, yeah, sometimes it's pretty much a done deal. We saw that last season. However, during Tyrone's date with Zadia, they connect as he talked about his PTSD, his anxiety issues, and the routines he have learned through the therapy he has gotten to manage his diagnosis, which, of course, for Zadia, who's a personal trainer, is all she wanted to hear. And, for that type of vulnerability, that went a long way with her. They got to be open with each other, and she definitely noted that she enjoyed the banter that she had, because that's one of her favorite things, which she does, which is enjoy talking. So now that leaves Carrington. And for some of the girls, he's a bit too calculated for their taste. However, with Aisha, there began to be some cracks in his armor. Now, the more he talks, the more it seemed like he knows how to maneuver in a conversation than simply just have one. And, and of course, enjoying a person's company, which it seemed like left Aisha okay with how things went, but not necessarily left with, her having stars in her eyes. So I'm not too sure about these two, but, we will most definitely see. So then we have Camille. Now, she's not a territorial person, but she definitely have her eyes on somebody. And that somebody is Cornelius. And there might not be anyone else that she likes. And you know what happens when someone catches feelings real early, especially with someone who has options. But what makes this whole thing worse is that she is willing to schedule double dates and scenarios to kind of test Cornelius's loyalty. Bad idea. Which for her isn't going well, because there's somebody else that has an interest as well in Cornelius. And we all know who that is. And that is none other than Courtney, which isn't going so well, since Courtney, again, it's not going so well for Camille because Courtney's into him. And with her love language being touch, she felt up on that man's thigh in public. And he definitely didn't stop her. So that's going to be interesting. Now we got Shiloh and Naeem. Now, let's be clear. Physical touch is a lot of people's love language, and it's not just a statement for some, but a request. So when he touched her after she mentioned that, he definitely got some brownie points for being responsive. It's elimination time, and it's between Carrington and Cory. Now, between Carrington never letting his guard down and seeming too calculated, to Cory being awkwardly aggressive to get a date, both of these guys find themselves at the bottom too. However, while Cory can be aggressive in his pursuit of dating, at least it seems like he is himself, and people get a sense of who he actually is. Granted, some folks don't like him, but they don't get that whole representative that is being presented like they do maybe with Carrington. Add in, Carrington can be quite defensive and stray from being held accountable. And that's why at the end of all of this, he's the one that is given the boot and is eliminated. And they told him, I'm sorry, you are not ready to love. So I will say there are some things that stuck out is that Courtney and Shiloh love languages were physical touch. So we saw that in this particular episode. And, that seemed to be pretty common with most folks. Cornelius's love language is gifts. And I find that interesting because most time you would see that more with the ladies, not with the guys. But hey, if he likes gifts, hey, ladies, you whoever dates him, they know what they got to do to win his love language over. Walter, he's spiritual, but not religious. So we'll see how that work with some of the people that he's connected to because, some folks want the religious and the spiritual together. We got Camille. Her grandfather is a minister. So I don't know if she would work with Walter if she's more religious than spiritual like he is. And then the next person that I noticed some things, which was Mumen. Mumen is acts of service as her love language, which I think that's pretty cool. Also, the vulnerability of Tyrone, speaking on the fact that he has PTSD, anxiety, which put him in the hospital twice, and he was deployed twice in the military. And I'm glad that he was able to work through these things. He was able to talk about it, be vulnerable with the young lady that he was speaking to at the time. And he was open. And the fact that he's worked through it so much that he functions with it as well. So I found that to be really, really interesting. And, I thought that was pretty cool. And then Aisha was previously married for 12 years from the age of 19 to 31. So she has one marriage under her belt already. And then Carrington, he has never, ever had a girlfriend. So I find that to be pretty interesting. I know some folks on social media was finding this situation as being a red flag. But, his defensiveness and everything, I don't know. That would turn any woman off. So in this case, it's a probability that he is true on the fact that he has definitely never had a girlfriend. So I know a lot of folks probably thought both Tyrone and Cory were pretty much a goner. Frankly, they're the type to be eliminated very early in the show. And usually the ones who make it to the end tend to be a little bit more straightforward, suave, play the field, don't trip too often. Tyrone is quiet, kind of nerdy, kind of socially awkward. And while he has a handle on his mental health, there is a big difference between advocating for someone else and wanting to be with someone who's going through it. Now, granted, he's only told Zadia thus far, but, she may speak to others since it's fair game. And this may not go down well for some of the rest of the ladies. But in my case, so what? If you can't deal with it, stay away from them. Is that what, most folks want? No. But every time you think the show is getting better regarding casting and scenarios, then it reminds you that it's still reality TV. And reality can be kind of harsh. Now, as for Cory, like Tyrone, he's kind of awkward. Now, the difference is that, of course, he's not shy, but he's definitely overly aggressive. And like he said, you take one step, he takes three. And based on how he was with Tizia during the elimination date and with Mumen, all he needs is permission and he'll start just going in. I mean, you got to give him props for being a man that's, about consent. And hopefully he's consistent about that and not just when, the cameras are on. So overall, I know a lot of folks or some of the ladies were saying that the men still feel a little bit generic. And there is likely a reason that the women mentioned that the men in D.C. had communication issues. And I actually think we saw that a little bit in this episode. Yeah, they answer questions, but while, you might get some energy from Walter, Naeem, may touch Shiloh, and as we saw Tyrone open up, there's still a little something about, some of the guys which still makes it hard to tell them apart. And, you know, there's still some things we got to watch with Paul, Naeem, and Donta, apart from the rest of the guys that's left. But it's still early. And to be frank, you know, I'm looking at them more of as characters more than cast members, since, you know, the editors and producers are definitely trying to create a storyline for everybody. So I'm just wondering and waiting when their story is going to actually start rolling. Or the question, will it? But we'll definitely see. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.